what I wanted to ask, I wanted to get more insight to what you were saying before about the difference between doubting and checking, because I feel like I've in a lot of like science books that I've read, I hear usually that like it's always good to have a skeptical mind. It's always good to doubt things, and I think I just took that and I ran with it because I'm naturally like doubt myself anyway. So it's like okay, I just doubt myself and doubt everything 100% of the time. And now it's like hearing you talk about checking, it's like maybe they mean checking, and I don't necessarily understand the difference between them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of a difficult thing to figure out, right? So think of it this way, right?
Okay.
What I was talking about the chessboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like at all times you have to be aware of what the actual reality is. It's very important to know what the actual reality is, right? So don't kid yourself and think you're in great shape when you're overweight, right? Don't kid yourself and think that you are good with women, that you have an extreme level of confidence when you don't even talk to them, right? Like you have to look at where you are. Okay, I'm a little bit socially afraid. I am overweight. I am whatever it is, right? Those attributes from a non-judgmental place. Like this is just where it is. This is where the pieces on the chessboard are. I don't care. It doesn't upset me. It is what it is, right? Maybe it's not where I want them to be, but that's where they are, right? But then the other part of it becomes your ability to play the game, right? That you can win, that you can succeed. That is what you don't doubt. That's where you have, if anything, the delusions of grandeur, right? To say that, well, you know, this is where I am, but this is what I'm capable of. This is the standard that I hold myself to. And again, it comes down to having a standard that you hold yourself to, right? So, you know, if I, and think about this way, right? And sometimes this works and you've probably been in that scenario, but if I brag, you know, about you to people, if I'm like, you know, this is Leo is awesome at, you know, whatever it is. Let's say I'm trying to think of a good thing. Like, you know, Leo reads a lot of books and he has a great understanding of books. You know, any book that he reads, he can give you really good insights from that, right? Now you're going to feel like you need to live up to that standard that I've set for you, right? In fact, you're going to feel probably empowered. Like you're going to feel like, oh wow, that and now you're going to actually perform better than you would without that encouragement and someone holding you to that standard, right? So instead of me holding you to a standard, you hold yourself to a standard, right? In fact, when I was first doing dating coaching, I mean, so think of it this way, right? If you're going to do like coaching, like live coaching with guys, like take them out to Vegas or something and teach them how to pick up girls, you have to do it the first time. There has to be a first time that you do it. Like there has to be some point where you've never done this before. Like you've done it yourself, but you've never coached anyone before. And now you're coaching them. Right. So I had that experience, you know, I forget how many years back. And in my mind, I was like, fuck, these people are paying me money. I have to be the fucking man, right? So I had this very high standard for myself. I'm like, I can't let these guys down, right? And so I performed better than I would on my own, like better than I knew I could perform because I had that high standard that pushed me toward, because I'm the coach now, right? I'm the coach. People are paying me to coach them. You see what I'm saying? So that's a high standard that I had for myself. And eventually I got experience and I did it a lot, and you know, but I forced myself to live up to it because I created that standard for myself. So it's like, it's a matter of creating high standards for yourself so that you have to live up to them. It's the same thing when I was doing the ultra running, right? And it was like, you know, I had the standard in my head that I'm going to become a fucking ultra runner, that I can run many miles, that I can do this training, right, at 200 something pounds. Most ultra runners weren't, you know, but in my mind, I psyched it up like I'm this fucking badass that can do this kind of shit. And so I did it, right? Because I had held myself to that standard, and instead of questioning it, instead of doubting, can I do this, right? It's no, I can do this. I am this guy. And so I must do this thing because this is who I am. This is what I'm made of, right? Again, being honest where the pieces are on the board. Okay, where are you at right now? What is the situation? What are the things in your life, right? As opposed to, because that's where people are like, you don't want to be a fraud. To be a fraud is to represent something that you know is not true, right? That's a totally different thing than setting a standard for yourself. Like this is more of an internal thing where you believe about your potential and what you're capable of, and you won't accept anything less than this performance from yourself. And so you make yourself rise to that level because you're creating that high view of yourself, right? That you have that expectation, right? That's the key is doing that, but still maintaining reality as much as possible. And it's hard sometimes because that's, you're talking about having a check-in. Like a lot of times we'll lie to ourselves, right? And we'll say, for example, we'll make justifications, right? So for example, a lot of guys that I coach, they're like, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm actually really good with women when I talk to them, and I don't have any problem like talking to women at all. I just never really feel like it, or I don't really like going to bars or nightclubs, or I don't really like talking to women in Starbucks. And it's like they have a list of every place that they don't like to. So I'm like, so when do you actually do this? And in their head, they've justified and said, well, if I really wanted to, I could do it. Right? It's like being like the quarterback, the armchair quarterback, right? It's like, if I really wanted to, I could be an Olympic athlete. If I really wanted to, I could pick up chicks. If I really wanted to, I could make a lot of money like these other guys. They're just, whatever, these sleazeballs or whatever. They don't really know what they're talking about, right? That's all bullshitting yourself, right? That's not healthy. That's not good, right? The reality, you have to look at the reality of what it is, but then have a high standard for yourself, right? So let's take even that one instance of like the guy that's like, playing World of Warcraft all day in his mom's basement. And he's like, I could pick up chicks if I want to. I'm actually really good with women. I'm a ladies' man, right? So that's a justification. He's like, I don't want to, right? Instead, a standard, right? You could flip that exact thing and be like, look, this is who I really am. Like right now, I'm acting like a loser. I'm sitting here playing World of Warcraft. I'm not going out and taking action, but I am an actual fucking stud. Like that's what I am. Like that's what I am internally. And that's who I am. And I'm the kind of guy that just doesn't fucking give up and goes after what he wants and will go out there and talk to whoever he wants to. And that's who I am. So then because you have that vision of yourself, you now get up off your fucking chair and you go out and you actually go and do it because you have that vision of yourself. And part of that vision of yourself says, no matter what happens, no matter how much rejection I face, I still keep on trying and I still keep on going because that's the fucking stud of a man that I am, right? So in some sense, that's a delusion of grandeur, right? But you make it become true because it's a standard that you have for yourself that brings you up, right? As opposed to a justification that prevents. See, a justification says, you don't need to do the action because you're already awesome, right? A standard says you are awesome, so you must do this because this is what awesome people do, right? That's the key. One is pushing you, the other is pulling you. One is saying, oh, you don't need to do it because you're already the man, like you're lying to yourself. Yeah. The other one says, because you're the man, you need to fucking do it and act like the fucking man because you're a man, so you do what a fucking man does, right? Those are the difference between those two.
I got you. And I noticed that like you, like when it came to like the unwanted behaviors, you reframed it as instead of like, this is being me, I'm acting like a loser. Instead of me, I am a loser. You're saying I'm acting as a loser, but I'm really a man. So I need to go act like a man instead of acting like a loser.
Exactly.
I got it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, no, appreciate you asking that and coming back to it because I think it's confusing a lot of people. And just like, again, one of those things where I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to, but see, I had this like in here, but not here, right? Yeah. And by you asking this question and me having to think about how to explain it, now I have it in here too. Now I understand for myself what the actual difference practically is, even though internally I got it, but I never had to explain it. So I didn't have a real good understanding of it. Now I have a better understanding of it. And now I'll teach it because you brought it out. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important for us to not just like learn things and then keep them inside because we don't really understand them. We have a knowledge, like a surface level knowledge. But then when we try to explain to someone, whether you guys do YouTube video or you write a blog post or do something, or even just talk to your friends or whatever it is, that is what really brings a true understanding, because then that brings it out of you, and then you have to really like understand it, if that makes sense. So
no, that makes perfect sense. I was able to be of some service to you in that regard.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, Leo.
Thank you very much.
Take care, man.
Take care.